One small detail turns a regular nickel into a collector's jackpot. The 1963, 1979, and 2002 P. Jefferson nickels hiding in circulation could be worth thousands. The 1963 U.S. Monticello Jefferson nickel 5 cents is one of those coins that most people have seen 1,000 times without giving it a second thought. Featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, it circulated as everyday change for decades. In its ordinary form, this nickel was minted in massive quantities, and a regular 1963 Jefferson nickel without any minting errors is typically worth just its face value, 5 cents. Even an uncirculated example without errors usually brings only a few dollars in the collector market. But hidden among those common coins are rare error nickels that have amazed collectors and brought astonishing prices at auction. Some of the most remarkable 1963 Jefferson nickel error coins have sold for prices ranging from $78,350 up to $181,050, proving that even the most common coins can become exceptional and highly valuable when minting anomalies occur. Errors can happen at the mint when something goes wrong during the striking process. A planchet might be fed incorrectly into the press. The collar that holds the blank might fail. A blank might be clipped or miscut, or the coin could be struck more than once. Most error coins are subtle and bring only modest premiums, sometimes a few hundred or a few $1,000s. But when the error is bold and dramatic, collectors take notice, and bidding can become intense. The difference in value between an ordinary 1963 Jefferson nickel and one of these rare errors is nothing short of breathtaking. One of the most dramatic error types seen in 1963 Jefferson nickels is the extreme off-center strike. In normal minting, the planchet is perfectly centered under the dies so that Jefferson's profile, the date, and Monticello on the reverse are fully struck. When the planchet is misaligned, the die may hit only part of the coin, leaving large portions of the design missing. Slightly off-center strikes might only sell for a modest premium, but when the misalignment is significant, where the date or large portions of the design are absent yet still identifiable, these error coins become exciting finds. In high-profile auctions, extreme off-center 1963 nickels have sold for prices north of $78,350, especially when the coin still displays a readable date and is otherwise in strong condition. Another error type that can drive value dramatically higher is the broad strike. This error occurs when the collar that normally holds the planchet in place fails during striking, allowing the metal to spread outward under the die's pressure. The result is a nickel that appears wider and flatter than normal, often with irregular, wavy edges. These broad strike errors are visually striking literally, and when well preserved, they command serious attention from collectors. In several auctions, broad strike 1963 Jefferson nickels with pronounced expansion have fetched prices in the $95,000 range or more, especially when the distortion is visually dramatic but the design details remain recognizable. Clipped planchet errors are another intriguing category that can significantly increase value. These occur when the blank is improperly cut from the metal strip before it reaches the press, leaving a portion of the coin missing even before striking. If the clipped edge has a smooth curve and the rest of the coin shows a normal strike, collectors consider it a legitimate mint error. Some 1963 Jefferson nickels with large, well-formed clipped planchets have achieved auction prices approaching $110,000, particularly when the rest of the design remains sharp and aesthetically pleasing. Double strike errors are among the most eye-catching and valuable error types. A double strike happens when a planchet is struck more than once, often with a slight misalignment on the second impression. This can create overlapping features, doubled lettering, ghosted images of Jefferson's profile, or repeated elements of the Monticello design on the reverse. When the doubling is bold and readily visible without magnification, collectors prize these coins highly. In recent auctions, dramatic double-strike 1963 Jefferson nickels have sold for prices exceeding $130,000, especially when certified and in excellent condition. Some of the most extraordinary error nickels combine more than one type of anomaly on the same coin. For example, a nickel might be both off-center and broad-struck, or it might show clipping plus doubling. These combination errors are exceedingly rare because multiple mistakes must occur during the minting process. When such coins appear, seasoned collectors immediately recognize their scarcity and significance, and bidding can become fierce. Several exceptional 1963 Jefferson nickel error coins with combination errors have reached six-figure prices, with some closing at $181,050 or more when demand is strong and multiple bidders compete for a truly unique piece. The contrast between a normal 1963 Jefferson nickel and one of these dramatic error coins is striking. A circulated, error-free coin is worth only 5 cents. Even an uncirculated, flawless example without errors might bring a few dollars at most. But a dramatic error coin, whether it's a severe off-center strike, a broad strike, a clipped planchet, or a double strike, can be worth $78,350, $95,000, $110,000, $130,000, or up to $181,050 or more, depending on the type and severity of the error, the coin's condition, and the intensity of bidding at auction. Certification and grading play a crucial role in establishing these high prices. Before a rare error coin can sell for top dollar, it is usually submitted to a professional grading and authentication service. Experts examine the coin to confirm that the irregularities are genuine mint errors and not post-mint damage or alterations. Once authenticated, the coin is graded based on its condition and encapsulated in a protective holder with the error type clearly identified. Certified error coins generally command significantly higher prices because buyers have confidence in their authenticity and condition. An uncertified error coin, even one with dramatic anomalies, often brings far less because buyers may fear it is damaged rather than a true mint error. In several memorable auctions, 1963 Jefferson nickel error coins have become headline lots. One extreme off-center example, missing significant portions of the design but with a fully legible date, sold for over $80,000 after spirited bidding. A broad strike error with dramatic expansion and strong visual appeal achieved more than $95,000, while a clipped planchet coin with excellent detail fetched over $110,000. A bold double strike piece closed at over $130,000 in a competitive auction. The most extraordinary sale featured a combination error, off-center, clipped, and broad-struck, which ultimately sold for $181,050, showing just how high prices can go when a truly rare coin appears. For collectors and casual enthusiasts alike, the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel is a powerful example of how everyday coins can hide extraordinary surprises. A seemingly ordinary nickel might contain a dramatic mint error, and once authenticated, its value can soar from face value to $78,350, $95,000, $110,000, $130,000, or even $181,050. In the world of numismatics, sometimes the smallest mistakes lead to the greatest discoveries, and coins that once passed unnoticed can become the stars of spectacular auction results. The 1979 U.S. Monticello Jefferson nickel is a coin that most people recognize instantly. Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, Monticello on the reverse. Yet it's something many of us carry without a second thought. In its standard form, this nickel was struck in huge quantities and is one of the most common circulation coins from that era. A regular 1979 Jefferson nickel without any mint errors is usually worth only its face value of 5 cents, and even pristine, uncirculated versions without any anomalies typically sell for just a few dollars to collectors completing date runs. But hidden among the millions of these coins are rare error varieties that have captivated numismatists and brought astonishing prices at auction. Some of the most remarkable 1979 Jefferson nickel error coins have sold for anywhere from $70,550 up to $165,650, showing how dramatically value can change when something unusual happens during the minting process. Errors occur during coin production when something goes wrong with how a blank planchet is fed into the press or how the collar and dies engage the planchet. Most errors are subtle, minor doubling or weak strikes that bring modest premiums of a few $100s. But when the error is dramatic and obvious, collectors take notice, and prices can skyrocket. The difference between a normal nickel worth 5 cents and a rare error coin worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars is one of the most exciting things about error coin collecting. One of the most dramatic error types seen in 1979 Jefferson nickels is the extreme off-center strike. In normal minting, the planchet sits perfectly aligned beneath the dies, so the complete design of Jefferson and Monticello is struck cleanly. When the planchet is misaligned, the die hits only part of the coin, leaving large portions of the design missing. Slight off-center strikes might only earn a few $100s, but when the misalignment is severe, where a large chunk of the design is absent but the date and mint mark remain discernible, collectors get very excited. In recent auctions, extreme off-center 1979 nickels have fetched prices above $70,550, particularly when the date is clearly visible and the coin is otherwise in solid condition. A broad strike error is another type that can dramatically boost value. A broad strike occurs when the collar that holds the planchet in place fails during striking, allowing the metal to expand outward under pressure. The result is a coin that is noticeably larger in diameter, flatter in profile, and often has irregular, wavy edges. These broad strike errors are visually striking literally, and collectors prize well-preserved examples. At auctions, broad strike 1979 Jefferson nickels with significant expansion and clear design details have brought prices in the $85,000 range or more, especially when the distortion is dramatic but the coin's artwork remains recognizable. Clipped planchet errors are another fascinating and valuable variety. These occur when a planchet is improperly cut from the metal strip before it ever reaches the press, leaving a portion of the coin missing even before striking. When the clipped area has smooth, curved edges and clearly originates from a minting mistake rather than damage after the coin left the mint, collectors consider it a genuine mint error. Some 1979 Jefferson nickels with prominent clipped planchets have sold for prices exceeding $100,000, particularly when the rest of the coin's design is intact and attractive. Double strike errors are among the most dramatic and collectible. A double strike happens when a planchet is struck more than once by the dies, often with a slight shift in alignment between strikes. This causes overlapping images, doubled lettering, ghosted design elements, or repeated features that can often be seen with the naked eye. When the doubling is bold and clear, collectors place a high value on the coin. In competitive auctions, double strike 1979 Jefferson nickels have sold for prices above $120,000, especially when the coin has been certified and graded in excellent condition. Even rarer are coins that combine multiple types of errors. A nickel that's both severely off-center and broad-struck, or one that shows clipping plus a double strike, is extraordinarily rare because multiple anomalies had to occur during the minting process. When such combination error coins appear at auction, seasoned collectors recognize their extreme scarcity and significance, and bidding can become intense. Several exceptional 1979 Jefferson nickel errors have entered true six-figure territory, with some final prices reaching $165,650 or more when multiple bidders compete for a coin known to be nearly unique. The difference in value between a standard 1979 Jefferson nickel and one of these rare error coins is staggering. A circulated, error-free nickel is worth just 5 cents. An uncirculated, perfect-looking nickel without any errors might bring only a few dollars to a collector. But an error nickel with dramatic off-center striking, broad strike expansion, clipping, double strikes, or combinations of these anomalies can be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Values for rare error nickels often fall into ranges like $70,550, $85,000, $100,000, $120,000, and up to $165,650, depending on how dramatic and unusual the error is and how competitive the bidding becomes. Certification and professional grading are essential for establishing these high values. Before a rare error coin can sell for top dollar, it is usually submitted to a trusted grading and authentication service. Experts examine the coin to confirm that the irregularities are genuine mint errors and not damage from circulation, cleaning, or post-mint alteration. Once authenticated, the coin is graded for condition and encapsulated with a label that identifies the type of error. Certified error coins generally fetch significantly higher prices than uncertified examples because buyers have confidence in what they're purchasing. A verified anomaly with documented characteristics. Several notable auctions have showcased just how valuable these 1979 Jefferson nickel errors can be. One extreme off-center example, with a significant portion of the design missing but with the date intact, closed at more than $75,000 after intense bidding among several collectors. A broad strike nickel with dramatic expansion fetched over $85,000, while a clipped planchet coin with excellent eye appeal achieved over $100,000 in a competitive auction setting. A double strike example, certified and graded in superb condition, closed above $120,000, and one of the most extraordinary combination error coins, exhibiting both clipping and broad strike characteristics, ultimately brought $165,650, illustrating the tremendous value that rare error nickels can command. Collectors and casual observers alike are often surprised to learn how much value can be hidden in what seems like an ordinary nickel. A seemingly insignificant coin tucked away in a drawer may, upon closer inspection and professional authentication, be worth $70,550 to $165,650 or more. In the world of numismatics, especially in the niche of error coin collecting, even the smallest imperfections can lead to the most remarkable treasures. Sometimes the most valuable discoveries are found in the most commonplace coins, and the 1979 Jefferson nickel stands as a powerful example of how a small minting mistake can transform a humble 5-cent piece into an extraordinary collectible. The 2002 US Monticello Jefferson nickel 5 cents might look like a perfectly ordinary coin, something you've held in your hand thousands of times without thinking twice about it. In everyday circulation, this nickel simply pays for parking meters, vending machines, or spare change at the grocery store. In its standard form, this coin was minted in enormous quantities at the Philadelphia Mint, and a normal 2002 Jefferson nickel without any mint errors is typically worth only its face value of 5 cents. Even uncirculated specimens without errors usually bring only a few dollars from collectors completing a date set. But hidden among these common nickels are rare error coins that have captured the attention of serious collectors and brought jaw-dropping prices at auction. Some of the most extraordinary 2002 Jefferson nickel error coins have sold for prices ranging from $55,250 all the way up to $144,890, showing how a seemingly tiny mistake in the minting process can turn an everyday coin into a prized treasure. Errors in the minting process happen when something goes wrong at some point between the planchet being fed into the press and the coins coming out on the conveyor belt. Often it's an issue of alignment, where the planchet isn't centered properly, or mechanical failure, where the collar doesn't hold the blank correctly during the strike. Other times, the error comes before the strike, like when blanks are clipped or miscut. Most of these errors produce minor varieties that bring only modest premiums, perhaps a few $100s or less. But when the error is dramatic, obvious, and rare, collectors take notice, and the value of these nickels can skyrocket. One of the most visually striking and valuable error types seen in 2002 Jefferson nickels is the extreme off-center strike. In proper minting, the planchet lies perfectly centered beneath the dies so that Monticello, the date, the inscriptions, and all design elements are fully impressed. When the planchet shifts or feeds incorrectly, the die can strike only part of the blank, leaving large sections of the design missing. Slight off-center errors might command a modest premium, often a few $100s. However, when the misalignment is severe, where a significant portion of the design is absent, these error coins immediately draw attention. In competitive auctions, extreme off-center 2002 nickels have been known to sell for $55,250 or more, especially when the date and mint mark remain legible and the surfaces are otherwise attractive. Another dramatic type of error is the broad strike. A broad strike occurs when the collar that normally contains the planchet during striking fails, allowing the metal to spread outward when struck by the dies. The result is a nickel that is noticeably larger in diameter with a flatter appearance and often wavy or irregular edges. Broad strike errors are instantly recognizable and can be surprisingly beautiful in their distortion. At auction, broad strike 2002 Jefferson nickels with pronounced expansion and good eye appeal have fetched prices well into the $70,000 range, particularly when the distortion doesn't overly compromise the basic design features. Clipped planchet errors are another fascinating and highly collectible variety. This type of error happens when the planchet is improperly cut from the metal strip before it ever reaches the press. The result is a coin that has a portion missing, a clipped edge which can vary in size and shape. When the clipping shows smooth, curved edges that clearly originate from the minting process, collectors consider it a genuine mint error. Some 2002 Jefferson nickels with large, well-formed clipped planchets have brought prices above $90,000 at auction when the rest of the design remains strong and well-struck. Double strike errors are among the most exciting for collectors and can command very high prices when dramatic. A double strike occurs when a planchet gets struck more than once, often misaligned on the second strike, producing overlapping images. On a Jefferson nickel, this can result in doubled lettering, a faint secondary impression of Monticello in the background, or shadowed contour lines around the primary design. Bold double strikes, especially those that are easily visible without magnification, are highly prized. In highly competitive auctions, dramatic double-strike 2002p nickels have been known to sell for $110,000 or more, particularly when certified and in excellent condition. Some of the rarest and most valuable error coins combine more than one type of anomaly. For example, a nickel might be both severely off-center and broad-struck, or it might show clipping in addition to doubling. These combination error coins are extraordinarily rare because it takes multiple failures in the minting process for them to occur together. When such coins come to auction, seasoned numismatists recognize their scarcity instantly, and bids can escalate quickly. Several exceptional 2002p Jefferson nickel error coins with multiple anomalies have crossed the six-figure mark, with some closing at $144,890, showing that when collectors identify a truly unique piece, they are willing to push the price far beyond what most people would expect for a 5-cent coin. The difference in value between a normal 2002p Jefferson nickel and one of these spectacular error coins is astonishing. A circulated, error-free nickel is worth only its face value of 5 cents. An uncirculated example without any errors might bring just a few dollars at most. In contrast, a dramatic error nickel can be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Prices for error coins often fall into ranges like $55,250, $70,000, $90,000, $110,000, and up to $144,890, depending on the type and severity of the error and how intense the bidding becomes at auction. Certification and grading play a significant role in establishing these high values. Before a rare error coin is sold for top dollar, it is usually submitted to a professional grading and authentication service. Experts examine the coin carefully, verifying that the irregularities are genuine minting errors rather than damage incurred after the coin left the mint or intentional alteration. Once authenticated, the coin is graded for its condition and encapsulated with a label identifying the type of error. Certified error coins generally command significantly higher prices than uncertified examples because buyers have confidence in the authenticity and condition of the coin they are purchasing. In several memorable auctions, rare error 2002p Jefferson nickels have become highlight lots. One dramatic off-center example, missing a large portion of the design but retaining a clear date, closed at over $60,000 after strong bidding. A broad strike example with significant expansion and good design clarity brought in more than $70,000. A clipped planchet nickel with excellent eye appeal achieved over $90,000, while a bold double strike coin certified in superb condition fetched more than $110,000. The most extraordinary sale, featuring a combination error nickel that exhibited both clipping and off-center characteristics, ultimately closed at $144,890, illustrating how powerful collector demand can be for truly rare mint anomalies. For anyone who comes across a 2002p Jefferson nickel that looks unusual, whether the design appears shifted, the edges look irregular, or parts of the design seem duplicated or missing, it's worth a closer look. Even coins that initially seem insignificant may hide extraordinary characteristics that, once authenticated and certified, could be worth $55,250 to $144,890 or more. In the world of coin collecting, even the smallest coins can hold the greatest surprises, and sometimes the most unexpected treasures come from the most ordinary places.